viewers and listeners. We are here today with Lorraine and Stephen Burkey. Lorraine wrote the book, and we're going to have her on campus on homecoming, October 16th, so she can do an author signing with us. The book is called A Little Birdie Told Me. This is a collection of poems that she has written over the years, and it is a very inspiring book. I have read this. I love this book. It has helped me through a very traumatic time in my life, and I absolutely love this book. If there's anything going on in your life where you're struggling, I myself highly recommend this book. Okay, so let's talk about Lorraine and Stephen. Lorraine graduated from Kirkwood College in '74, and she got her degree as a receptionist clerk. And then Stephen is an alumni here from the university. Go Bears! And he graduated in '94. His degree was in print management. And then these two, they have a wonderful story on how they met, and I'm going to let them talk about that later. It is so precious. I told them that they need to write that as a story because I think it's cuter than The Notebook, but that's me. Anyway, we are going to get started today with this interview talking about the book, and then you can come in and meet them again, homecoming, October 16th. They'll be here at the bookstore from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Don't miss it. You will regret this if you miss them. Okay. Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Stephen. You want to say hi to everyone?
Hello, everybody.
All right. Thank you. So we're talking, of course, about your book, and I wanted to know, is there a particular poem in here that is your favorite poem?
My favorite poem is also on the back of the book, and it is on page 19, and it's called Around the Bend. And it has helped me and it's pretty much started me going because I kept helping myself, and it just happened with things that happened in my life. So I would always keep this in mind and keep it. I had a frame typed up and framed it on my bedstand in my bedroom, and I would read it when I just every time I happened by, and I'd say, yeah, that is me, and remember that. That's not it. Yeah. Wrong page.
No, skip one.
Okay, here we go. No, it's not. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
No.
Finally. In the spring of '74, I was only 20. Life seemed to have a lot in store, and I was offered plenty. But something upstairs broke inside. I almost was no more. And though it wasn't likely, I made it through the door. Every day I'm determined to start the day anew. There's sunshine in my heart with a sunny point of view. No one promised it would be easy. There's a challenge in what I do. The love of mom and dad was there to see me through. There was a time when I thought my world had come to an end, but time has proven to me that I'm just traveling around the bend, and I needed to keep that last line in mind. So I read it, and I needed it, and it helped.
And that poem is really, really beautiful. And listening to that, I think that is really relevant to so many people, especially today with so much that's going on. I mean, we have COVID, so many of us have been affected by that. with loved ones, and or we have loved ones that it's has been affected, but it hasn't affected us as deeply because it's someone that our loved ones have known, and it's in their circle, but not necessarily within the same circle that we have, and watching our loved ones having to suffer, watching someone they care about going through it. So there's just so much with that. And then with some of the other turmoil that's going on in the country, it just feels like this is a very relatable poem that everybody can look at and gain inspiration from and hold on to. Like, yes, definitely I can grab onto that, and I can hold on to that, and just remember I'm going around the bend, and when I get there, it'll be better. And thank you. Thank you for that poem. So another thing is the title. I like this title, A Little Birdie Told Me. Can you tell us where the title came from?
I would write a poem and share it with people. And they would say, how did you do that? So, I don't know, little birdie told me. So I said, that's what I'm going to name this book, A Little Birdie Told Me.
Okay. So this is your first book that you've published, correct?
Yes.
Now, have you published anything before, like in a newspaper or in a magazine, anything?
Never. Never. It's my first.
This is your first. Okay. And did you find that it was hard to get published, or was it easier than you thought it would be? How did you find getting into the publishing industry?
My husband picked out a publishing company that was well known, so that we knew that it was a good place to start, and just started talking with the first person that you run into on the telephone, and got to talking about, and this person just happened to published a book of poems too, so we were sort of chit-chatting about that a little bit, and one thing led to another, and I submitted it. I talked to them back, and I said, did you like it? And he says, yes, but I have no say. I said, do you have any favorites? Go, yes. And they would tell me the names of them. It made me feel good that they could resonate with these, and that they had favorites, they enjoyed it. And they didn't say it helped them, but I'm hoping that that's what happened too. So yeah, went pretty good, just one thing at a time.
That's wonderful. I'm sure that it did. From my own experience, I know it helped me with what I went through. Let me see if I can find this, because I always want to call, wouldn't miss it for the world, but I know that's not the title, but that's what I think of. I've got it marked. I've got so many marked in here. Missed it. That's the title. And it's found on page 85 if anyone is interested, and you should be. This is a great poem, especially for all you couples out there, because let me tell you, all of us can identify with this poem. Missed it. The odds of finding you, I couldn't calculate. So when you came along, I was thinking it must be fate. For over 20 years, we gave it our best shot. We laughed and cried and grumbled and even fought a lot. Things have settled down, and I'm still in love with you. Thanks for hanging in there, like we always do. So when you're upset with our favorite insults hurled, I just want you to know I wouldn't have missed it for the world. And I read that and I was just thinking, that is so my husband and me, I just read that and I was like, it summed us up so perfectly, because we would always laugh, but being a couple, we knew our buttons, and when we'd fight, yeah, favorite insults hurled, but we never would like stay in a fight. We'd always be like, okay, I know that we're upset right now, but I love you, and don't ever forget that. I love you always and forever, no matter what. So when I read this, I was like, yeah, this is someone I can relate with, who knows me, who knows my husband. This is perfect. And with what I went through, I kept rereading this poem over and over again because it made me feel closer to my husband, and it helps so much. And I even read it at the memorial for him, and there's a lot of people, there was some laughing and a lot of tears, so it was very well received. And just thank you so much for this. So I definitely think that the poems that they listed, that they did, it helped them. So there are other poems in here that I saw that I was like, hey, I think that this would probably help, but I just kind of wanted to check in with you and see what you were thinking when you were writing the poems, and what you were hoping that it would do for the readers when they were going over the poems. So we'll just look at a couple of them. So this one on page 7, the guy, I was like, when I read this, it made me smile because I was like, yeah, this is my husband. This is, and a lot of friends that I know, this is very much like the Ozarks. But I wanted to get what you were thinking when you wrote this poem. And I really want to know what you were thinking when you wrote this. It's called The Guy. Of course we love duct tape. It fixes everything. When all is said and done, we feel like a king. Who needs to call the guy when we need to fill that hole? I can be the guy. Just hand me another roll. So what were your thoughts when you were writing that poem?
Just, I think it was an episode of Home Improvement or something, and they were, I don't know, somebody made a comment, you know, that's funny. They always think they just have to, why didn't you call the guy instead of messing it all up? Well, of course, they got duct tape, you know, it fixes everything. So of course we love duct tape. You just, that's how it starts, and it just sort of goes. Just hand me out a roll. I go, that's pretty cool.
Okay.
It just happens.
Okay. I love that. I love that because I read that and it made me laugh, and I was having a really bad day that day, and I read that and I laughed, and it had been over a month since I'd had a really good belly laugh, a really good hearty laugh, and it was a weight lifted off of me, you know. So again, thank you for that poem. And I was just curious, I wonder what she was thinking when she wrote that. I wonder if there's a story behind this. But yeah, I can see that if you're watching Home Improvement, oh my gosh, the silly things that Tim would do. Poor Al. But okay, so we'll move on. And one of the things that I wanted to know, because there's a lot of poems that is in this book. As you can tell from the poems that we've gone over, just a few, these are really, really good poems. You need to get this book. were there any poems that you left out of this
Oh,
collection?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This one I just wrote the other day and I laughed. And I see you roll your eyes when I say I watch a soap, and I can hear you thinking, oh, you silly dope. Did you cry at the movies? Well, you silly dope. Don't you know it was a 2-hour soap? That one I like. That was one on me.
Oh, that's cute. And I think that's another one that couples can relate to. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. So is there maybe, just maybe, a chance that there might be another book in the future that we could look forward to?
Never say never.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
We've got 110 poems already done.
110.
Private collection.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, you heard it here first from the bookstore at Missouri State. They already have 110 poems. So I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, if there's another book that comes out, we knew first. You heard it here. Okay, so seriously, when you were doing the book and you were getting all this put together, how did you decide what poems went together? Because I don't, unless you've read the book, you wouldn't know that it's divided up into different sections. So it has like an invitation to your heart, life at large, and then there's a collection of Christmas poems as well. And you got your poems of faith and an ending poem, which is beautiful, beautiful. How did you decide to put all of these into order? How did that come about?
Just looked at this what it was talking about. Well, got to realize it's just regular life. So life at large seemed to fit. And then I figured people would think, why did you write so many Christmas poems? So I labeled it Daniel Christmas card poem. That's how I got so many. And it conveys the same message, and that's the reason why. So that's how that came. Invitation to Your Heart came real late. It was already almost put together, and Steve says, you need some kind of introduction to this part that you wanted these to be at the beginning. And I said, give me a minute, not yet. An Invitation to Your Heart. And that's how that got. Just everything else, you just one thing at a time, and it happens. And I had a lot of help here.
That's wonderful. So Steve, what did you do to help Lorraine with the book?
What did you do to help me with the book? What was it that you did?
I put them in the proper order. I typed them. I did all the manual labor.
He did the communication between us and the publisher, which I wouldn't have been able to do.
Oh,
I'm
well,
not computer savvy.
well, that's all right. We all need a little help, so that's good. So you basically worked like a lot of married couples strive to be when they're first starting out, as a helpmate to each other, and work as a team and be like one person. Does that sound right?
Yes. Trying to get this book together. Well, there's some really favorite insults there too. Oh, I missed it for the world.
Oh, but it was worth it in the end, right?
All inspired by the things that I've been through that's happening. And then just one thought, I go, okay. I go, wait. If you want to finish if you want to know what's going on that TV show, just write it down because you're not going to be able to pay it. Anything else. I woke up at midnight one night, wrote a poem I've been trying for a long time to write. Just write it down or you won't get back to sleep. So I did.
So for you, the poems, do they just spring up in your mind, or is it you hear something or see something and it just, the words start flowing and you have to write it? I'm not sure how to ask the question. Where do the poems come from?
I was listening to TV, that one that said, they just made a comment. Well, it took a while. And 5 minutes, I had that whole poem. It's on the back of the hardbound edition. Oh, yeah, that's really is me. And I had someone that works for us say, I read that, and that's me. That's me. She had been through personal struggles of her own. And I said, thank you. I'm glad it helped. So, yeah.
That's great. So let's look at some more of the poems real quick. And we're not going to go over all of them because you need to buy the book if you want to read all of them, okay? So let's look at on page 126, where it says, the seeds you plant. Yesterday was raining for all the things I couldn't do. Today is partly cloudy and the sun is breaking through. Yes, I took my time in healing all my wounds and all the winters of my life help me cherish more the Junes. It's hard to understand exactly what the fuss is. You dwell on what is wrong with life. I'm working on the pluses. Okay, it isn't perfect, but I take it day by day, and everything I say and do will help to guide my way. One thing I know for sure, in a world that seems a zoo, the blessings in the seeds you plant will surely come back to you. And I really like that. It really seems important to hear those words and to see them and read them and reflect on them again with the different things that are going on. And I think it's kind of important for parents to read that and to think about that and maybe read that with their children, because there's so much that's going on. And it's not like when I was growing up, or like when you and Steve were growing up, we at least had the chance of, when we got away from school, we were done with the bullies. We weren't having to deal with it 24/7 because we weren't turned on with the smartphone, the computer, we didn't have that all the time. And it just seems like these kids are just always have something going on. And I've had to tell my kids, turn it off, don't look at it, that's put on a movie, do something, talk to me, let's do something to get them away from it, because they would try to get obsessed over this. I'm like, it's not worth it. And start telling them, if this person is being mean to you, ignore them, block them, turn it, just like I would block a number on a phone, same thing. And then they would tell me, my friends don't do this. And I said, why not? Because they don't know how to. And it just makes me wonder, what do people realize is going on and what don't they realize. So I thought that poem was really important from a parent perspective. But then when I look at other things that are going on in the world, with just some of the silliness that's going on, it's like almost grade school, but with an adult language and understanding being used. And it just kind of sad. Well, no, kind of, it is sad. And so I just wondered what your thoughts were with that poem and how you would like that to reflect on the readers and what they would get from that poem.
I was so busy listening to you.
The seeds we plant.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I wanted people to know that everything they say and do creates other people along this way, because you're a very important person and you were meant to be, and you need to take that seriously too, but not too seriously. I mean, come on, have a sense of humor about it, but realize that people are getting things from you and that you are part of the status quo and how the world develops, and you are important. Be careful what seeds you're planting, because they will plant your future.
Okay, I like that. I like that. All right, and let's see, where was it? Oh, here. Page 29, and it says, choose. Real life happens. You have a choice. What you choose becomes your voice. You can whine about that's not fair, or you can choose to show you care. You can be sure someone's watching you. Learn from all the things you do. If you feel love, they will too. Rest assured, they're glad you're you. And, I found that to be very inspiring, but also a, kind of a warning as well. And I just wanted to know your thoughts on that poem.
You are responsible for the world and the world you are creating. And you want to be part of the answer, not part of the problem. And you want other people to feel good about themselves like you want to feel good about yourself. So create something that you want to see and that would bring goodness to the world.
Okay. So I've gone over some of the poems in this book, and we know that there are some poems that are left out, at least 110. And we're going to hope that there will be another book. And again, you heard it here from the bookstore at Missouri State First. So is there anything that you are hoping the readers and our viewers and listeners today will gain from this book, A Little Birdie Told Me?
That it's going to be okay. Hang in there, and there's always going to be things you can whine and cry about, but it's going to be okay. Just keep trying, just keep going, give it your best shot. We're all in this together, and everybody is part of it. So do your part.
Okay. All right. And is there any other poems that you wanted to talk about today, or any other message that you wanted to add today?
Well, I could go through the whole book and read each one. Every time someone comes on with the subject, like, hey, that reminds me of that poem, and I can almost recite them verbatim, but then I leave out some way of rhyming and the rhythms. So I just keep thinking, yeah, I wrote a poem about that. They'd probably get a real charge out of that if I could remember it all. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's one more poem that I wanted to go over. that I want to end with. And that one is called Fairy Tale Frogs. And it's the first poem in the book. And it goes like this. Love stories are for romantics. Who believes in fairy tales? That's just fine and dandy, till you go to hook up with males. I've had my share of frogs, but nothing happened there. So I guess I gave up looking, and life was empty air. One more frog came hopping by, and luckily it was you. Fairy tales may be a joke, but dreams still do come true. Happily ever after is expecting quite a lot. Our love is something special, and we're giving it all we've got.
The frog.
See, you gotta get that in there. I'm the frog.
I think it's a beautiful poem. I think it's so sweet. What were your thoughts about this poem?
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. You always gotta go kiss a lot of frogs before you find the right thing. And then it doesn't even dawn on you, hey, I passed it by, give it all you've got. Give it all you've got.
All right. Well, that's just great. I thank both of you for being with us today. And again, I want to remind everyone, October 16th, homecoming, and hopefully our football team is going to do as well as what they've been doing. Go Bears! And remember, they're going to be here before the game starts because the game is at 2. Okay, so you've got time to come to the bookstore, meet Lorraine and Steve in person, chat with them. If you haven't already, purchase a copy of A Little Birdie Told Me and get this book signed. You will not regret it. This is a book that you want to have and you can pass down to your kids. This is a great book. This is a very inspiring book you want to have in your collection. So again, October 16th, 10 to 11. Don't miss them. You'll regret it.